Good morning, class, and welcome to Chapter 7 in your GoMath textbook. If you haven't done so already, please tear out pages 365 and 367 from your GoMath textbook. Today's lesson 7.1, and it is on dividing by 2. Your essential question is, what does dividing by 2 mean? All right, let's work out these problems together. Okay, there are 10 hummingbirds and 2 feeders in Marissa's backyard. If there are an equal number of birds at each feeder, how many birds? Whoops, I didn't mean to cross that out. How many birds are at each one? Well, what do you need to find? Well, we need to find the number of birds at each feeder. Circle the numbers you need to use. We did that because we are good mathematicians. And what can you use to help solve the problem? Well, we can use counters. We can draw equal groups. So here they're using counters and equal groups. So we're going to put counters down, although we're really technically going to be drawing equal groups. If you want to use counters and have something in your house you like to use for counters, then go for it. You can pause the video and go get it. So, use counters to find how many in each group. Use 10 counters because there are 10 hummingbirds. Draw 2 circles because there are 2 feeders. Place 1 counter at a time in each circle until all 10 counters are used. Here we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 counters in each of the 2 groups. So there are 5 hummingbirds at each feeder. So what they want you to think is that you had 10 hummingbirds in all. You put them into 2 equal groups, and you ended up with 5 in each group. So to record this, you would say 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Or you can do it this way, 10 divided by 2 equals 5. If you're going to read it aloud, you would say 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Both of those read the same way. All right, flip it over. You can also draw to find how many equal groups. So, once again, there are 10 hummingbirds in Tyler's backyard. There are 2 hummingbirds at each feeder. How many feeders are there? So look at the 10 counters and circle groups of 2. Continue circling groups of 2 until all 10 counters are in groups. So here's 1 group of 2, 2 groups of 2, 3 groups of 2, 4 groups of 2, and 5 groups of 2. So there are 5 groups of 2 counters, which tells me that there are 5 feeders. So think, there are 10 in all. We know there's 2 in each group, which makes 5 equal groups. So you can record this as 10 divided by 2 equals 5, or 10 divided by 2 equals 5, but they both will read 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Okay. All right, you're probably thinking, Mrs. Rankin, this is so easy. And it is kind of easy. We're just dividing by 2, and we all know our 2's multiplication facts. So it does make it very easy. But that doesn't mean you should move super fast. You still want to work very carefully. Here we go. Complete the picture to find 6 divided by 2. So I'm going to keep drawing a dot in each of the 2 groups until I reach 6. And then we can find out how many's in each group. Okay? So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of like silly faces. So how many dots are in each group? 3. Let's check this with what we know. Does 3 times 2 equal 6? Yes, it does. Here we go. Write a division equation for the picture. So, you're used to looking at pictures like this and writing a multiplication equation. So we're going to be doing the opposite. I want you to remember that the division equation starts with your total amount, your biggest number. So look at number 2 and figure out what's the total number of red dots. Hopefully you said 2, 4, 6, 8. So our biggest number that we start with is 8. That's our total amount. Okay. Now we took 8 and we divided it into how many equal groups? 4. And how many in each group? 2. But there's another way that you can write it. More than one way is acceptable. You also could have said, let me grab a different color. You could have said 8 divided by, whoops, I started to write 4 again. 2 equals 4. Both of those would work. Either one. Okay? Remember, they're in the same fact family. All right, look at number 3. What is your total amount? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We're starting with 12. We divided them into how many equal groups? 2. How many in each group? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's another way that you could write this? And that's it. Okay, do number 4 on your own. Go ahead, I'm going to wait. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. You should have said we start with 14. We put them into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups with 2 in each group. Or you could have said I started with 14. I put them in groups of 2 and made 7 groups. Either way is correct. Okay, grab your next page, 367. Let's keep rolling. Write a division equation for the picture. I want you to pause the video and I want you to do 5, 6, and 7 on your own and then press play when you're finished. Go. Pause the video. Don't wait for me to tell you the answer. Okay, if you are back, then that means that you have answered 5, 6, and 7 on your own and you're ready to check your work. Let's go. How many in all? How many total? 4. Divided into how many groups? 2. How many in each group? 2. You also could have written, whoops. Oh, look at that. There's twins in that fact family. So these both look the same. Either one is correct because they're the same. Number 6, you should have said 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. You should have said we start with 16. We put them into 8 groups, and we put 2 in each group. Or you could have said I started with 16. I put them into groups of 2, and I made 8 groups. Either one is correct. On number 7, you should have counted up all your dots and you would have got 18 dots. Divided into 2 equal groups equals 9 in each group. Or you could have said 18 divided into groups of 9 will make 2 groups. Either way is correct. But if you got all 3 of those correct all on your own, give yourself a good hard pat on the back. Very well done. Next, it says find the quotient. What's a quotient? Well, the quotient is the answer to a division problem. You may want to draw a quick picture to help. Now, we know our 2's facts, so we can use our multiplication facts that we have memorized to answer these problems and not have to draw a picture. But if you would like to draw a picture, you can. So 2 divided by 2 equals blank. Well, I ask you this, my friends. What times 2 equals 2? Well, 1. You also learned last week that any number divided by itself equals 1. What about 16 divided by 2? Well, let's go backwards. Look right here, though. It's right here. But let's pretend it's not right there. Go backwards. What times 2 equals 16? 8. 20 divided by 2. What times 2 equals 20? 10. Okay, let's keep going. This time we may be missing more than the quotient. It looks like we're good. We have our quotient. We're missing part of the problem. We're missing the large number. But remember, we can go backwards. So if I go backwards, I would say 5 times 2 equals 10. Does 10 divided by 2 equal 5? Yes. You could even draw a picture to help you with that. You could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could say, well, there's 5 sticks in each group. Blank divided by 2 equals 2. Let's go backwards. 2 times 2 equals 4. So does 4 divided by 2 equal 2? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it does. What divided by 2 equals 3? Let's go backwards. 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, it does. Blank divided by 2 equals 8. Go backwards. 8 times 2 equals 16. 2 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Okay. Let's look at the bottom. Lynn makes a tile design with 16 tiles. Half. Okay, now, here's where dividing by 2 comes into play. Okay? When you see the word half, that's a clue word that you're going to divide by 2. All right? Half of the tiles are red, and half of the tiles are blue. He takes away 4 red tiles. How many red tiles are in the design now? So he has 16 tiles, and half of them are red, right? Half of them are blue. So what are we going to do to solve this problem? Well, first let's figure out how many red tiles we have. So half are red, so 16 divided by 2 is going to tell us how many red we have. Well, I know 16 divided by 2 is 8. So that means I have 8 red tiles. But he takes away 4 red tiles. So now I have 8 minus 4. And how many is left? 4. So how many red tiles are in the design now? 4 red tiles. I wouldn't just write 4 tiles because I've got blue tiles too. I need to be specific on what tiles I am talking about. Becky made 2 videotapes while a giant hummingbird fed 4 times and a ruby-throated hummingbird fed 8 times from her new feeder. Each videotape caught the same number of feedings by the hummingbirds. How many feedings were shown on each videotape? Okay, what are we going to do? Well, it wants to know how many feedings, not specifically what kind of bird. Okay. So let's add up the number of feedings. So first, since we have to justify our answer, we're going to write them out. First, add 4 plus 8. And what do you get? 12. Okay. Then what? Well, she made 2 videotapes. So I need to take the 12 feedings and divide them equally among the 2 videotapes. So then divide 12 by 2. So 12 divided by 2 equals 6. Okay. So 6 feedings on each tape. Okay. All right. Look at this blue box on the back, on the bottom. Ryan has 18 socks. Okay, well, socks are something that come in pairs, right? Pairs is something where we're going to be dealing with the number 2. Whether it's times 2 or divided by 2, if it's pairs, it deals with the number 2. Okay? So if Ryan has 18 socks, it says select one number from each column to show the division equation represented by the picture. Okay, so I know each of these circles has a pair in it, right? Okay, so he put his 18 socks into pairs, and pairs are 2. So your divisor is 2. Okay, let's find the answer. So when he took his 18 pairs and he puts them into, 18 socks and puts them into pairs of 2, then he's left with 9 pairs of socks, or 9 groups. Okay, so you should have 2 and 9. All right, head on over to Think Central to complete your assignment, and I hope that you have fun with this easy lesson of dividing by 2.